I pulled my small block Chevy 307 out of Christine, our 56 Bel Air. She's locked up tight. Don't know what's wrong with it. I suspect I have a problem in the bottom end. It's pretty catastrophic. But we're going to take it apart. We're going to do an autopsy on this motor. So if you're interested in seeing how we're going to get this done, stay tuned. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to Restoring Christine. Bill here. Been offline for quite a bit. quite a bit. Christine was a 4 or 5 year project. I was restoring her in my garage. It's a car I've had for 20 years, and I went frame off, so everything you see behind me, the exterior, interior, frame, chassis, suspension, motor, transmission, everything was all gone through. It was a labor of love. It was something that I did every week. I got 170 or so episodes that precede this one that show you everything it took to get this car from rolled out of mothballs to fully restored. But this is the power plant that was in Christine when I bought her in 2005, and it's the only motor that's ever been in it. I drove it for years, not knowing that this was not a 350. I thought it was a 350. It turns out it was a 307, and I didn't figure that out until we took it down to freshen it up. Well, I didn't know a whole lot about the background of the motor, but I did know that I had a lot of years of trust in this motor. It never let me down. It never failed. So when I pulled Christine into the garage, pull the motor out, I figured all I was going to do was really just freshen up, just take care of the leaks, just clean it up. Decided at first, when I thought it was a 350, I thought I was going to put some of the aluminum aftermarket camel hump heads on it, and I bought a set from Trick Flow. And after I pulled the motor out, I saw the bore was not a 4-inch bore, and then I started, and the next thing I noticed is let's measure the stroke, and then it's, lo and behold, we have a 307. And the reason why I didn't know that is because there was casting flash on the block numbers, so it was in such a way that you couldn't identify one of the numbers. It was like one looked like a 4, and it wasn't a 4, it was a 1 or something like that. But anyway, I wasn't able to reverse look or look this up and figure out what this motor was until after I tore it apart. But this motor, so I was getting ready for Cruising the Coast last year. And Cruising the Coast is a week-long event in October. It's the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, and we go every year. And I was hoping to bring 2 cars. I have a 71 Cutlass convertible. I was going to bring Christine. It was going to be the first time. She was going to be back there since maybe 2013. So Christine had not been to Cruising the Coast, no, since 2015. It may be 10 years. Christine hadn't been there. So I was thrashing, trying to get it ready, and meanwhile, life gets in the way. Me and my wife, after having our house for 33 years in one location, kids have all flown the coop, it's an empty nest, and we're looking at each other sideways thinking we maybe need to do something different. So we committed to a house, change of life, change of lifestyle, moved from where we were, nice family nest that we had, and then we moved into something that suits us for where we are today in life. And that came at the same time. We moved, I think, a week and a half before Cruising the Coast. So I had Christine was still in the garage at the other house, and I was thrashing, trying to get her ready to go to Cruising the Coast, and I had my garage fully set up at the old house, so I left it there. I left it in condition that I could work on Christine, because I didn't want to start moving that. We were just pressed against the wall. But I thought all I had to do was just run Christine through her paces and just get some trust back in the build from bumper to bumper. I mean, I took everything apart. So we had to make sure that the suspension was tight, that the frame was tight, that I didn't have any problems with the cooling system, the fuel system, because everything was new. I didn't have any trouble with the motors, the leaks were taken care of, so I fought leaks and I fought a noise in the block, and I'll go over that in just a minute. But anyway, so what happened was the day that I was going to shake it down, the Saturday before we were going to leave for Cruising the Coast, I drove it out of the garage, drove it down a few miles, about 5 miles away from the house, 6 miles away from the house maybe, to a gas station that sells ethanol-free fuel. I get there and I fill up Christine, and now I got a full tank, and I get maybe a quarter of a mile from the gas station, and then just suddenly, at about 1,800 RPMs, maybe at the most, I was in 4th gear, and I was just rolling. Christine's got a 411 gear in it, so I was on a little 4-lane highway between red light to red light, and suddenly it just instantaneously just locked up. I quickly put my foot in the clutch, It was dragging the rear wheels. I quickly put my foot in the clutch, and I knew the motor was locked up. And dejected, I let it coast to a stop, pulled over, called the wrecker, got it towed, had it towed to the new house, which is where we are now, and knew that our possibility of getting cruising the coast was like done. I didn't know what was wrong with the motor, but I knew that I moved into this house that it was going to take me a little while for me to move my garage from where I used to be to where I am now and get it set up. And that took many, many months because it had to take a back seat to moving into the house and getting everything else in order. So it had been maybe 6 months. 6 months. So here we are now. I am finally able to, guilt-free, get back in the garage and get to working on Christine. So I apologize for being on the dark side of the moon, radio silent, but here we are. So I'm going to take apart this motor today, and we're going to figure out what went wrong. But let's go. So in order to get Christine's motor out, I have an overhead gantry system that I put in this garage, and it's got a Harbor Freight hoist on it, and it rolls back and forth in 2 different directions, and it's got a little festoon system. I have a video that was the second to last video that I did. The last video I did was on pulling this motor out, so I'll put links to those 2. But I'm going to set the camera up, and we're going to go over this. But the first thing I want to talk about is that I had problems with the heads, and the heads were making, I had valve train noise that was like ridiculous. These are 601s, these are HO305 heads. I did a little bit of porting work on them, and they were built by a shop in West Virginia. I got them through eBay, got them in. They had, what looked to be new, they looked set up like they'd been done right, so I thought. And as it turns out, the retaining clips, the retainers on the valves were not the right ones. There's an inner shoulder that fits on the inside of these springs, and the inner shoulder was too small, and so every one of these was rattling around and it was clattering. So when my motor locked up, the first thing I thought was, well, okay, we fought that for so long that maybe I broke a valve. But it did stop instantaneously. But if you notice, look at the valve train. Everything's seemingly right where it needs to be. The valves that are open are, a normal amount of loose for being hydraulic flat tappet, and the ones that are open are tight. So I don't see a problem here. I really don't, unless, I don't know, but I really don't think I got a broken valve. I'm going to pull the heads off. The first thing was to pull this top end off, and then we're going to pull the bottom off. But yeah, so let's start turning some wrenches. First thing we're going to do is pull off all of these rocker arms. All right, so what's next? Let's go ahead and get this manifold off. I got an oil sanding unit, the pressure, where the tube is, where the oil gauge goes. That's in the back. I got to pull that off. But yeah, we'll get that off, and then we'll be able to pull. We need to pull the headers off, and then take it from there. But that's going to be done by hand. Before I pull this manifold off, I want to go over something. So when I first started the motor back up, all I did was I just changed gaskets, put new heads on it. When I had the bottom, I didn't have to take the bottom end apart. I had the pan off, and all I did was I just checked the torque on the main caps and the rod caps. And I just checked the torque and make sure that they were all tightened. But a couple of things happened when I first started this motor back up. And one is, I am pretty sure that this gasket was being pushed out. I want to say it had blow-by. I had before I rebuilt Christine, I had Edelbrock valve covers on it. And the filter, or the breather was always, it had a PCV valve on this side and a breather on that side, and the breather was always dripping oil. And I never really thought about it. I just thought it was just hardened, you know, the hardened rubber grommet that the thing goes into, the breather. And I didn't think anything about it. Then I rebuilt the motor, or not rebuilt it, but I freshened the motor, and I fired it back up, and I did not have a PCV valve over here. And boy, this breather was dripping oil, brand new. So then I put the PCV valve on it, and the breather, no matter how much I cleaned it, it still continued to drip oil. So I had a feeling when I started seeing this gasket push out, and I saw that I couldn't control the crankcase pressures, that I probably had blow-by. So the motor's tired. It is definitely tired. It's more tired than what I guess I wanted to admit when I freshened it. But I did want to say that before I pull this this manifold off. So let's go ahead and get it off. Let's see if we see anything goofy in here. Probably not. Probably not, huh? Let's look in the lifter valley. Nothing looks unusual. All the lifters look like they're seated right. I don't see any that are sitting low. You know, valves. Some of the valves are up. They're coming up. These are new lifters. These are brand new lifters. I put the old lifters in it, which was a mistake, and I had to take this manifold off, put it back on. And I changed the lifters trying to chase that valve train noise before I figured out it was the retainers. But you can see here, this gasket was definitely being pushed. Even though it's on pins, I know it was being pushed. I don't like having all this RTV silicone out here, but I did. So let's see back here. Oh, check that out. Look at my oil leak. Look at my oil leak. Oh man. That's probably a lot of where I had oil coming from. Look at the gasket. Look at that. Oh man. How does that happen? How does that happen? I mean, I don't even know. But yeah, if I had positive pressures in the crankcase and I was pushing oil and oil splashing around in here, I can imagine that oil probably would have been dripping down the backside of this block and going on my bell housing. The bell housing was wet. Bell housing was damp. I did not refreshen this bell housing. That's the original paint. I wanted to keep something from 1956 in it. So that was a little homage. It was under the car. Nobody was going to see it. But yeah, that's part of my oil leak problem. All right, let me go ahead and I'll pull these lifters out. And then I need to pull the headers off. Then we can pull the heads. All right, I got all the lifters out there. I didn't keep track of what hole they came out of, but they all look like they were. I mean, as I grabbed them, none of them were stuck. They were slippery eels. They were hard to get to, but none of these are cupped. I mean, I don't think they were. So, usually when a lifter fails, you have a hard time pulling it completely out of the bore. And all of these look good. You know, none of them look bad. So, yeah, we're just going to pull those off. So what's next? I need a draining oil. The draining oil, pull the plugs out, so let's continue. Just pull the lifters out, but I do want to point something out. Look at my hands. You know, this shouldn't be like this. Look at all the black that's inside of that motor right now. It shouldn't be like that. I mean, I know I didn't take completely apart, and maybe there was oil still in the crank, you know, just buried in the ports and the passages. But you know, that should have been cleaned out, because I've changed the oil several times. Now there's something when we take the crank out, when we get to it, I'll go over some oiling issues that we had that might have been the culprit. I don't know, but let me pull the plugs out, we'll drain the oil, and then we'll continue. Just as I decided to stop videoing, I wasn't going to video pulling the plugs out, but I just pulled the first two plugs out. I pulled out the number 8 and number 6, and the number 6, look, water. Water. Oh, that's not good. That is not good. Oh man. Okay, so I guess I'll record this. Oh boy. This block may be dead. Or the head. I don't know yet. But this is what happens when something catastrophic goes on. Shoot. Oh man. As soon as I broke the seal on that plug. Well, shoot, look at a plug. That plug on number 6 is destroyed. I mean, completely destroyed. Maybe I do have a valve head dropped, which is what I originally suspected. I don't know. If I did, oh, I do. Nope. Nope. Oh man. We got problems. We got problems. Look at the heights. All right, this is the number 8 exhaust, number 8 intake. Look at the number 6 exhaust, and then the number 6 intake. Look how high it's sitting. I broke a valve head. Valve head went into the motor. And then look at this one. This is number 2 intake. Number 2 intake's drop, it's way low. Oh man, yeah, we got problems. We have problems. I did not notice that when I pulled off the rockers. So this cylinder seems like it's okay. But let's see what the number 2 is. Anything in here? Oh shoot, I just broke it. I was about to say, boy, that plug is bad. Yeah. Look at that. No, but something's going on. I don't know if you can see the valve, the tip, the stem. See, it's like white. Something's going on. Something's going on in this number 2. We got a problem with number 6 and the number 2. It might actually be a valve head, which would make sense because it was clattering for a long time, and I couldn't figure out what the heck it was, and I kept chasing the problem, and I kept thinking it was, I don't know, valve lash or something. But number 1, all the heights look normal over here, so I don't expect to see a problem. I just broke another spark plug. Doesn't matter, these plugs are going in the trash anyway. Okay, let's see. Well, we got them out. Yeah, I don't know what that is. It's got like, it looks like kind of corrosion on it. Like, I don't know, there might have been some water in it. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Well, all right, so now we got to drain the oil, and don't be surprised if we start to see water in the oil. Let me get that set up and we can do that. Well, I'm not going to not film anything. I'm going to film everything, because you never know, man. Pull off the oil filter. want you to see it as I see it. 6 months, I didn't know what the heck went wrong with it. 6 months. Water above it here. I guess I should have drained it first, but ooh, that's ugly. I mean, that's pretty bad for being fresh oil. I'm telling you, that oil is not that old. Not that old. Put this on the side and get a wrench. Is this it? Yep, that's it. Water, water, ton of water. Look at that. Ton of water. You know what should have been a tell? When I drained the radiator, there wasn't a whole lot of fluid in it. There wasn't a whole lot of coolant. Here comes the oil. Oh, something's going to be ugly, 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 ugly when we get to it. When we get to it. Oh, that is nasty. What a mess. What a mess. Come out. I guess it doesn't matter at this point with all that water that we had. There's a 5-gallon bucket. It's halfway full. Oh man. Well, let me let that drain out, and then I guess in the meantime I'll start taking apart the front end, huh? All right, let's get the motor mount off. And then we'll get the pulleys off. The change is fitting, man. It's simple. I think this is a 5/8. Yeah. Well, one thing I don't have to worry about is a block spinner. Oh man, I mean, I've got so much tied up in this motor as far as labor and effort. It's just depressing, man. This is an original motor that was in Christine, you know. And I know it's a 307. I know I'm going to take a lot of. I've already taken a lot of lift, a lot of pushback about this, the fact that I stuck with this 307 and. Yeah, people telling me, you know, oh, put a big block in it, put a 383 stroker motor in it. It's like, look, you know, this thing goes to cruise nights. I'm not bringing it to the track. So, I mean, it just, you know, you just want something that makes a little noise, gets a little attention, but is reliable. You know, that's all I really want. So I was fine with 307, and it made plenty enough power for what I was doing with Christine. And I wanted to keep it. But here I am. All right, we'll pull the timing chain cover off. Smaller than that. Smaller than that. I already have it out. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I don't know what I'm going to do about a motor. They are not as common around here as you might think. I'm in New Orleans, and I go on the Facebook Marketplace or wherever in the heck, you know, people list motors and stuff like that, and what they want for absolute junk is outrageous. It's bad. I mean, it's really bad. And I don't want something that I don't know if, you know, a core that I don't know if I'm going to be able to rebuild it or not. The last time I did a full rebuild, I took my old Rocket 350. What difference does it make? Okay. No, this was a mess. This whole thing is this new one-piece oil pan gasket. You know, I don't know. Well, timing chain looks brand new. Looks like, you know, not stretched, not damaged, not anything there. So I'm going to leave the timing chain on for the moment. I think the next thing we need to do is, before we rotate, we need to pull these heads off. But boy, I mean, it's going to be ugly. It is going to be ugly. Oh, water. Water right there. Water below the number 8. Water below the number 6. Water in the number 4. There's water right there. I wonder what the heck went wrong. You're about to see something ugly, that's for sure. For sure. Alright, I got it freed up. Just tapped it with a mallet. Got it freed up. Now it wants to come up. And there's all kinds of nastiness pouring on the floor. More water. More water. Nope, something just fell on the floor. Exactly what I thought. Broken valve head. Broken valve head. Oh man. What's the bottom of that head look like? Oh, this looks horrible. Horrible. What is all that? That might be the valve seat. What is that? I don't even know what that is. Got a problem in the number 2 here as well. Water. I don't know what happened. There's shavings in the bottom of the number 4. Let's take this head out and we can see what's going on with it. Find something to put it on. All right, I got the head down. And here it is. Yeah, it's junk. It is junk. Head's cracked. Right there, it was a piece of the head, piece of the seat. Junk. Junk. And then this one bent. Looks like it hit the piston. This is the number 2. Looks like it hit the piston. See, the piston's kind of polished right here, and it's got a little bit of a marring right here that I can feel. So, yeah, I don't know. What a mess. What a mess. This one's going. There's no saving this motor. There's no saving this head. Well, I don't know that it's worth going through the bottom end. You know, I don't know. We'll pull this head off and let me see what I got. All right, I got this head for the 1357. I got it loosened up, broken free. I'm about to pick it up. But I got it broken free, and I think the water, a lot of the water back here, I don't know if that's from the pistons, but that's from the, probably because it's still holding water in the block, in the water jacket. Alright, what's your problem here? Come on up. The heck is its issue? What's it hung up on? It's on a pin still. There we go. Pull this one on the side and see what we're dealing with. Oh, we got water in that cylinder. In the number one. What the heck's that all about? Right here. Water in the number one. Man, I don't know what went wrong. There's rust in this cylinder. What the heck's going on with this thing, man? There's water in the number. There is. There's water in the number 7. Holy cow. What in the world was going on? Boy, when it went, it went. Let's look at the bottom of that head. I just set it down on the rag. And got another bent valve. Another bent valve. What? How did, I mean, that's amazing. Look at the corrosion over here. Water here. I mean, when it went, it just went. I don't know. I guess, hold on a second. Let me collect my thoughts here. So I'm just thinking out loud here. This motor's junk. Junk, junk, junk. The head's a junk. Here's the deal. So I got these heads. When I put everything together, started the motor up, I had a loud valve train clatter that I could not figure out what it was. And I mean, I went rounds with it. I pull the manifold off, change the lifters. I played with the valve settings, adjusted all kinds of things, and then I noticed that one of the retainers was off center. And I said, that doesn't look right. So I got into it, and I pulled the retainer off, and I got my mics on it, and I checked it with a caliper. And I could tell, like, whoa, look, we're not talking about thousands. We're not even talking about hundreds. I mean, it was tenths. It was like a tenth of an inch off. It was rattling around, so I thought that was my noise. Well, what I suspect, and what I've always suspected, is that with the uncontrolled valve springs, that did something to the valves, and it looks like that it was bending them. So these valves were bent. And a bent valve becomes a broken valve. And it only took one. Only one was going to break. And that was the one on the number, what's that the number? Number 6. You know, so here it is. 307 is nothing but a boat anchor. It's brand new 601, it's brand new to me. 601 heads, also boat anchors. I ain't touching them. Not in the slightest. I mean, if you can tell I'm heartbroken, I am. I am, man. I don't know what to do right now. And I say that, I do know what to do, but I really don't have a plan laid out yet. I don't have a line on a motor. I don't want to trust buying a motor from somebody else that said it's been rebuilt. Because somebody could have it painted and make it look like my motor looked. And I knew this motor was just fresh in the gaskets. You know, I just didn't think it was ready for a rebuild, and it's a damn good thing I didn't spend the money on the rebuild, because I'd have rebuilt this whole bottom end, and it had the same catastrophic results because the problem was in the heads. So I'm on the market now. I'm looking for a small block. I've got us. You might see it in the back over there, but I've got a small block. But that's from the mid '90s. It's a metric motor, and I don't want to fool with that. I do not want to fool with that. I want a period. Christine's a period hot rod. I want a motor anywhere from 1960. I don't know. 1963, 327, up to whenever they changed to metric, late 1970s maybe, for 350. Put 400 in it. I don't know. 383 stroker, sure. You know what? I will even go with the 307. I know a lot of you guys would tell me I'm nuts for that, but I don't care. I really don't. What I'm not going to do is I'm not putting an LS motor in here. Don't even leave it in a comment. I'll delete it. I'm not putting an LS motor in it. The other thing I'm not doing is I'm not putting a big block in it. I'm not. I'm going with the same vintage small block. Christine is a period hot rod. It's supposed to be late 60s, early 1970s, the way it would have been done back in that day. That's what Christine is. I don't like billet. I don't like I don't want something that it looks like it came out of a 2010 Silverado. Forget it. I don't want to pop the hood and see Corvette insignias all over everything, unless it's from the 1960s. And then in that case I would. But that's my deal. Is I'm on the hunt now for a vintage small block that I can rebuild. I probably would be better off getting something that I can send to the machine shop and do my own machine work. I've got a good machine shop that I trust, and I'm going to check with them and see if they've got any cores laying around. But we're 50 years out. So the odds of something like this sitting around, though they made millions upon millions of them, we're 50 years removed from when these things were new. So, and that's not a valid excuse for me going with an LS motor. I'm just not going to do it. Not going to do it. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I wish you were getting a better version of me, but this is this is raw emotion, and it's been 6 months, and I knew this is about what I was going to find. I said I bet I broke a valve, and then you're going to probably find that that's what I said in that video back when. We'll see. We'll see if that holds water. So anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. Do wish the results were better, wish the outcome was better, but there you have it. Autopsy in this motor. I'm not even going to bother to pull apart the lower end. What's the point? So until I see you next time, we're going to go over something. We're going to figure out, we'll give you a status report and update, but it might be a little while again before I have anything to report, because I need to collect some parts. I need to collect the core. I need to collect the motor. Let's figure out what we're going to do. So then once we do, we're going to get her back, and Christine, we'll be back on the road, and we'll resume this channel and get rolling. So do hope you enjoyed this video, even if it's heartbreaking, and if you did, give it a thumbs up. And as always, if you enjoy my channel, I'd love a subscription. So until I see you next time, please take care of yourself. Cheers.